Just last month, NBA trade talks were a hot topic, especially surrounding the New York Knicks potentially acquiring Utah Jazz guard Donovan Mitchell. However, now in August, offseason trade talks, they've cooled just a bit. But now, Michael Scotto, NBA writer for HoopsHype, has reported that a big trade is being discussed that involves the Knicks. Michael, he joins me now. Mike, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, Dexter? Always a pleasure, my man.
Always a pleasure to talk some basketball with you. Now, Mike, you broke the news that a three-team trade is being discussed between the Knicks, Lakers, and Jazz. What can you tell us about these trade talks?
Sure, Dexter. I mean, those trade talks originated about 2-3 weeks ago. So, we're in the first week of August now. And the biggest thing is for the Lakers, it would give them an opportunity to offload the contract of Russell Westbrook, get some guys back that could help the team win that, maybe be a better fit, and Patrick Beverley, a defender, and Bojan Bogdanovic, locally the former Brooklyn Net that people will remember as a sharpshooter to spread the floor for guys like LeBron and AD. And with the Knicks and Jazz, they've been in talks for a while now, even though they stalled a little bit. I think that was just as much them going on vacation. A lot of executives go on vacation the end of July into early August, but we'll be coming up on training camp soon. And many people around the league expect those talks to pick back up again. And certainly they had a lot to haggle over on it for both sides as they look to try to make a potential blockbuster trade. And if the Lakers can join in, all the more better.
All right, so there's been a ton of talk, Mike, about what exactly is holding up a deal for Donovan Mitchell between New York and Utah. So is this discussed three-team trade a better situation for the Knicks than dealing with the Jazz straight up?
Well, Dexter, I think if you're the Knicks and you want to potentially move Cam Reddish, which he's been in more trade rumors than a high schooler in the hallway, I think for the Knicks it would give them an avenue to do that because the Lakers have been interested in Cam Reddish since the trade deadline last season. So in terms of whether it's a better avenue for them to get a deal done, I don't think, Dexter, that the Knicks necessarily need the Lakers in a three-team trade, as well as Utah. The Knicks have plenty of draft capital with 8 picks over the next 7 years that they could potentially give Utah. Obviously, they don't want to go that high, but the Knicks don't need the Lakers in this to make it happen. It's more of an equal opportunity scenario, and the Lakers have talked with other teams as well, including the Indiana Pacers, about moving Russell Westbrook as well.
So, Mike, in terms of this getting a deal done with the Jazz and the Knicks, how likely is it, in your opinion, that this deal gets done? And fans want to know this part. How soon could this happen?
Well, I think right now, Dex, you've got, like I mentioned, executives coming back from vacation, and you've got training camp around the corner. For both sides, what I would say is ideally you don't want to have trade talks hovering over like a cloud in training camp. The last time the Knicks were trying to get a real star, you think back to Carmelo Anthony in Denver, and those talks lasted for months. I think ideally for both sides, they'd like that not to be an issue because ultimately, whether you talk to rival executives, agents, or even players, Dexter, around the league, the prevailing thought is if Donovan Mitchell is ultimately going to get traded by the Utah Jazz, that the New York Knicks are the preeminent favorite to land him based on the amount of draft pick compensation they can give. And also some of their young guys that they have available in Obi Toppin, Emmanuel Quickley, and Quentin Grimes. They're not going to want to give up the entire treasure chest, certainly, to get Donovan Mitchell, but they have all the pieces to get it done. So, the prevailing thought would be later on in August that talks would pick up as the executives come back from vacation and whatnot. And Dexter, we're going to see if ultimately it comes to fruition. But a lot of interesting stuff certainly coming up here.
A lot of interesting stuff indeed. And you're right, Mike. We will see. That is Michael Scotto, NBA writer for HoopsHype. Mike, thank you for all the insight. Thanks for joining me.
My pleasure, Dexter. Anytime, brother.